SB19 Time, the first take. Where are we right now with SB19 and Time? My first time ever hearing SB19 was their official music video for Time. I loved it. I then went and watched the live performance video of Time. That was my first time actually seeing them. So I have seen two different versions of Time already, but I'm told that this first take version is different to both of them. I always have time for more Time by SB19. I'm very excited. So without further ado, let's get straight into it.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm so nervous again.
Of course, this is the first take. Hello everyone, we're SB19. We're back here again. This time, we're going to perform one of our more emotional songs from our latest EP called Simula at Wakas. And it is called Time.
Wow, that's so cool. Hearing them speak in English. I was gonna say when they were walking in, as cool as they are and dressed very fashionably, they did look nervous. And then for Josh to straight up just say, "Oh yeah, I'm nervous." Interesting. I mean, they are humans at the end of the day. They go through human emotions, as we can see from these more emotional songs. Well, I'm sure they don't need to be nervous. I've seen a few of their live performances, and they are called the Live Monsters for a reason. So,
Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
Riding in bed, numb and upset. Your hands on a clock, we're moving along. It feels like I'm dead, but I'm here instead. Please make it stop. I'm always wrong and stuck inside my never-ending thoughts. I'm trying hard 'cause I know what it got.
okay, I'm going to do a quick stop here just to highlight a few things that we've heard already, things that are different to the studio version and interesting. And then when we carry on in just a moment, we'll go straight into the chorus, which is the best bit of the song. I think so anyway. It's really cool to hear this with a different backing track, different instrumentation. I'll touch on that in a second. Firstly, I was curious about the key that they would perform this in.
Riding in bed,
So it's the same key as the live performance I've seen,
riding in bed, numb,
which is a tiny bit lower than the official music video,
riding in bed, numb and upset.
which is interesting to see and understandable. So when I do comparisons to show any differences or similarities, assuming they don't change key later on or something, then I'll probably compare to the live version instead of the music video, but maybe I'll do both, I don't know, but having them in the same key is very helpful for these comparisons. Also, I said earlier, I can never get enough of Time. Well, I also received a lot of comments to do the Wish Bus version of Time. That will be the fourth different version of Time, so I will do that after this reaction. Oh, I don't know if that's tickled me. In a good way, I think that's really, really nice to see. But just like with the other Wish Bus performances I've done, like with Ilao and Mappa, the Wish Bus Time video will also be on Patreon, so you can find all of them linked below in the pinned comment. So onto the music. The main and obvious difference is the guitar, now accompanying Justin, just to hear what it was in the studio version.
Riding in bed,
Here, the guitar, finger plucked in style, quite chilled. Straight in on that bass note. To me, it's a bit more ballady, a bit more like a ballad. So that happens, and then we get Ken's entry next, just like in the studio. And listen out for the guitar part. It suddenly sounds much thicker. The texture is thickened.
I'm always wrong and stuck inside my never-ending thoughts.
In other words, we're hearing more notes. Another line has been added in. We have harmony in thirds, so 3 notes apart, interspersed with this lovely harmony line in the middle.
Stuck inside my never-ending.
Going something like, which is adding a bit of tension because it's causing a bit of dissonance. That's always nice, a bit of subtle dissonance. And not only does that add some harmonic substance, but also rhythmic substance. The nature of plucking a guitar is quite percussive, isn't it? And we're also getting these regimented rhythms, cha-chum, compared to the original song, which is much more about having a sustained accompaniment. I just mentioned rhythmic substance, and another reason I think is because we also get clicks coming in.
Wrong and stuck inside my never-ending thoughts.
This type of body percussion, it can be clicks or claps or slapping yourself. I don't know, I think they're quite catchy in songs, especially when they're used not too frequently. And especially when we don't yet have actual percussion. We don't have actual drums. So having a little click in there, I think it's quite catchy. They're the main differences we're hearing so far. We've got the chorus coming up, so let's dive on in. I'm very curious to see what they do.
'Cause one day we'll run out of time. Memories will leave me behind. Many things we can control. I hope you know it's better to try. 'Cause one day we'll run out of all of these are natural. No one's really in control, but we live a little cause we know when we vanish we don't really go. So I try to run an extra mile, hoping for a sign. If there isn't one, then I'm leaving mine. And for those behind, seeking you will find there's no reason not to try. Watching everything from the back seems beautiful, but at times it gets really ugly. You already know what to do. Well, we got nothing to lose. Well, we're not changing with trust. Fighting for whatever cost. If the light's dying, ever since to refuse. Stuck inside my never-ending thoughts. I'm trying hard 'cause I know what it costs. 'Cause one day we'll run out of time. Memories will leave behind. Many things we can control. I hope you know it's better to try. 'Cause one day we'll run out of time. Memories will leave me behind. Only when push comes to shove, your best is enough. It won't hurt to try. 'Cause one day we'll run out of time and time again. It rains things that don't.
Ooh, there are some really cool changes. Some really cool changes. For anyone who doesn't know, over on Patreon, I rate every song I do a reaction to. That's completely free, by the way. You just need to be a free member. And I can already tell rating this compared to the original is going to be so tough. But that's a problem for a later date. And it's a good problem to have, right, with, with a song like this. Well, the first thing that I want to talk about before I forget is it's the chorus.
'Cause one day we'll run out of time.
Stel changes the melody a little bit, and then Pablo also implements this change later on. Very quick Theory 101 on what they're doing here. So the melody in the original, but now Stel is doing. So essentially the change is this. He's turned it major because this is the chord, and the third note signifies if it's major or minor. So we've gone from a minor chord to the major version, and major just sounds a bit happier, a bit more uplifting, a bit brighter. It's a little bit higher up, it's a brighter sound. I mentioned Pablo implements this as well, and then Stel does it again next time.
'Cause one day we'll run out of time.
So they're basically exclusively singing the major, the happier sounding version of this melody. If you do the minor version, then when you arrive here on time, we haven't heard that note yet. So the arrival on it makes it seem even more uplifting. If you already have it, we've already had it twice. So I'll leave it down to you to decide if you think the minor version or the major version is more impactful. The reason that they can change the melody of a chorus of a song, which is something that you wouldn't expect that you'd change much, is because there isn't music underneath.
'Cause one day we'll run out of.
Well, not much music, and the same here.
'Cause one day we'll run
Again, a little bit, but the music we do hear is not really impacting whatever they choose to do. If you had the major chord, but they're singing the minor melody, this is what it would sound like. Extremely discordant. We're basically hearing. But if you have a major chord underneath, and they sing major, much nicer. So by not including any sort of chord underneath, they can do what they want. Or, so that's cool, a major version of the chorus melody in this first take version. I spoke a little bit about percussion or percussive elements, the beats. I said in this first take version, everything seems a little bit more percussive because you have plucked guitar, much more consistent rhythms. Then they stop. And then we get that double snare tap. To me, that sounds like preparation for a beat to then come in. Cha, boom, boom, pow. But there is no beat there. The same thing happens in the original. I think that's one of the most impactful parts of the song. I focused quite a bit on that in my original reaction because I just think it's such an integral part of the song. Let's have a listen.
'Cause one day we'll run out of time, memories will leave them behind. Many things.
And now you hear a cymbal come in.
Time, memories will leave.
Here, the cymbal comes in after the first time. I also find it interesting how we do get this really grungy bass note coming in.
One day we'll run out of time,
Like a low vibrating sound, essentially. It makes us do a bit of the old bass face. I can see why they've done it though. I think it's to create a contrast against the orchestral instruments that now enter.
leave them behind. Many things we can control.
Orchestral stringed instruments, violins, pizzicato playing. Pizzicato means you pluck the string instead of bowing it. The most obvious example was the repeat of the chorus.
Time, memories will leave them behind. Only when push comes to shove.
Thematically, a huge difference in this first take version is to do with the rhythms, the plucked guitar at the start, plucked strings now, a very kind of jumpy beat to accompany the cha-cha-cha-cha element of the chorus, one day we'll run out of. We even get deep brass coming in.
Control. I hope you know it's better to.
And a bass, a really low bass as well. They roughen up the texture a little bit and provide even further contrast to Stell's pure voice. Then we get Pablo's entry, and what happens to the instrumentation?
All of these are natural. No one's really in control, but we.
It's the same guitar part that was used for Justin's at the very start. Except underneath Pablo's, there's also now a beat. This is treated exactly the same as in the original version. And then when Pablo comes in,
All of these are natural. No one's really in control, but.
the same, but with a beat as well. So it seems in terms of the overall structure, things are the same as the original, or very, very similar. Same with the harmony, same chords, same melodies, other than, of course, the chorus change. It's really the instrumentation and the importance given to the rhythms, I think, that are the main changes in this first take version. The chorus here reminds me of The Weeknd or something.
Time, memories will leave them behind. Girl, you're perfect. You're always worth it.
I would show a video clip of that as well, but I can't if you saw what it was. All right, let's carry on from Josh's entry. If you enjoy these videos, please consider supporting me. You can buy me a coffee or hot chocolate, join our Patreon for loads of additional content that's not available on YouTube, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. All options are linked below, and a special thanks to everyone on the screen. Back to the video.
Time and time again, it rains things I don't understand. I'm drenched all over, still under all I can. Now we're aware there's no reset in this world, so I'll never ever walk away with stones left unturned. Oh, 'cause if I'm living anyway, I'm spending every day scattering stars in the night sky, hoping it'll lead away for better days. Savor every moment with me while we're here, 'cause I don't want day. Time, memories will leave them behind. Many things we can't control.
Getting goosebumps.
I hope you know it's better to try, 'cause one day we'll run out of
no, I want to listen to that again. It's funny. Look at the screen here. You see this little like white mountain above the mouse. That shows it's the most replayed moment. And it's this bit from Ken. I focused on that in my original reaction. It seems I'm not alone in just really liking it. Also, watch Ken here. Sorry, Ken, I'm exposing you. He did a little for the drop of the beat, but he was a little bit early.
'Cause one day we'll run out of time.
I also think it's worth mentioning as well, he also does the major version of the chorus instead of the minor that we get in the original. I want to quickly show you actually what we hear in the original versions, the music video and the live performance I saw.
One day we'll run out of
In the music video, both repetitions are minor. In the live performance video,
trust. 'Cause one day we'll run out of
first time is minor, second time is major. So across all three, we've heard minor, 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 major, and now the one we're currently listening to, the first take version, major, major. That order I just played is chronological, oldest to the most recent, so it's almost as if the iterations over time are becoming slightly more positive. It's a very, very moving music video. On the off chance you're watching this and you haven't seen their original music video, watch it because you'll get tears.
time. Memories will leave them behind. Many things we can't control. I hope you know it's better to try. Cause one day we'll run out of time. Memories will leave them behind. Darling, when push comes to shove, your best is enough. It won't hurt to try. Cause one day we'll run out of
Thank you so
I'm so nervous. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Still nervous after the performance. You've done it. You've done it now. Oh, that's nice. They look like a bunch of humble lads, you know, a bunch of humble gentlemen, which I think is always nice to see. It's never nice to know that an artist or an actor or a sports person, whomever it might be, is a bit nasty in real life. They look proud of themselves, like they've been building up to this and they've given a good show. I won't say too much more. I want to go and watch the Wish Bus performance, but I will quickly go back to the harmony bit. As someone who always talks about harmony, I think I have to. As I was listening to this,
every day, scattering stars in the night sky, hoping it'll
my brain was genuinely saying to me, oh, it's a shame I can't see everyone because it would be good to see who is singing which part. And then we get a nice harmony moment that isn't in the other versions. Well, it is in there, but just not so exaggerated. Much more subtle. Here in first take, they show everyone, we can see who's doing what, and that's really good if you want to kind of practice your listening and see who's singing which part. We see Josh when he enters, then Pablo goes to the top, and we have Justin and Ken underneath.
savor every moment with me while we're here, 'cause I don't want that change.
Memories will leave them behind.
Well, that was really, really cool. I love different arrangements of songs, especially when overall they're similar, same harmony, same structure, but they've just changed the instrumentation. Who has done this rearrangement? Is it Pablo? Is it any of the others? Is it someone else? If you know, please let me know, because so far my understanding is Pablo writes most of the music. And the best part is there's another version, Wish Bus. So I'm going to go and watch that now once more. If you want to join me there, head on over to the link in the pinned comment. You'll also get access to all the other SB19 live performances I've done videos on. And if not, and you made it this far, then thank you very, very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more SB19, let me know by liking this video. Comment, as always, other SB19 songs you'd like me to do. And if you don't want to write any words, then today's emoji that you can put instead will be a headphone emoji, because they're wearing headphones here, just like you see on the screen now. Thank you once again, and I will see you in the next one.